Diane. Hello. Welcome to Biters, in which we are talking about Fear the Walking Dead, and I will be posting 2 episodes this week because I'm a slacker. And I just told Marnell I'd rather watch 51-minute TikToks than one more episode of Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, and so we're going to talk forever. Our last episode was only 52 minutes long, so yeah, that was a record short for us.
And I just want to say, Phil, it was not because I rushed her through it. We legit didn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, the last last episode wasn't that great. This episode was great. You don't think so, so we're probably going to talk forever. But if you're listening to this, we're still here. We didn't quit.
Thomas. So I got a message from Thomas, the reason we're saying this, saying, is there a Biters this week? And I was like, no, we gave up on Fear. And he was like, whoa! And no, Thomas, I'm joking. Totally joking. But...
and if you are friends with him on Facebook, I don't know if he posted it to his other social media, but Jenna Elfman actually just recently did an interview, and she talked about their lovely friendship for like a full 5 minutes. It was great. So he posted that to at least his Facebook page. So if you were friends with him on social media, seek that out because Jenna Elfman was lovely.
I need to watch it. So he sent it to me, but I haven't watched it yet. I just saw that it was a recording of Jenna, so...
Yeah.
All right.
We are here talking about Fear the Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode... Oh no, I didn't write it down. Episode...
611.
611, wow.
Yeah, so it's Season 6, Episode 11, called The Holding.
The Holding. Yeah, I think it's the title is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I definitely don't have anything else to say about the title. It was the place that the weird culty people were. Yeah,
that's what they called their little underground bunker, which, is it still there? Because there was a fire, but at the end it looked like it was still there. So I don't know if the Holding is no more.
I think the Holding is still there.
Okay.
Oh God! You've been kidnapped. The characters from the last TV show you watched are trying to rescue you. Who's coming to save you? We're doomed.
I think they'd have a pretty good... I would... Alicia and Al, Luciana and Wes, I could see them, like... mounting a pretty good rescue operation.
You have more faith than I do.
I really like Alicia Debnam Carey.
As does Steve. All right, so how did you rate this one? I think it's your turn this time.
I probably rated it way higher than you. This is my second highest rating of season 6, and I rated it a 4.5 posters.
Oh, I was like, posters? Yeah,
the
for the...
You get the name, right?
Yeah, composters.
Yeah. So what did you rate it?
I didn't give it the rating you did, I'll tell you that much. I rated it 2.79 embalmed walkers out of 5.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's probably one of the lowest ratings I have ever given to anything Walking Dead. And I will tell you honestly, I think it's because I'm just tired of it.
Well, now, but yeah, I was going to say my interest is piqued because, there was very little that I did not like about this episode. But we'll get into it.
So I have just a couple of numbers, and I think that you're going to be more supportive of one of them than I am. The first is that Handle with Care got 1.1 million views. So it's continued to decline a little bit.
Right.
And then the other is that this got a 9 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Yes, it does. It is still very early. We are podcasting on Sunday night because we both have early access, but we don't like to podcast early because not much news is out about the episode until at least Sunday night. So it's very, very early. And I noticed that last week's episode, I think that was an 8.1 when we podcasted, went down to a 7.9. So I don't know if that nine stars will hold or not, but yeah, I agree with the IMDb crowd, at least the early people.
Well, I don't. So, and I will tell you that little ping that you heard, my other personal TikTok curator just sent a TikTok for me to share with you, my personal TikTok curator. So I will be doing that at the end of this podcast. I'm going to show some restraint and not watch it right now.
Most of my text messages nowadays are just me sending other people TikToks and other people sending me TikToks. So, yeah, that's my life now.
My life is, pretty much sending text messages back and forth with my other TikTok curator. When I'm not driving to see him.
Oh, mine's lounging around in my new furniture watching TikToks.
Yes, new furniture, yay.
Like all new furniture in my living room except my like entertainment center where my TV sits. That's not in yet. And a piece of office furniture for my office. But I like literally everything. My living room was as bare as the day we moved in this weekend because like I did the whole like I swept, I mopped, I washed walls, like all that kind of stuff. Moved out all the furniture.
I'm going to correct you for a minute. A chaise lounge is not office furniture.
It will be a comfortable place for me to sit when I do not want to sit at my desk.
I think that's a pandemic office furniture.
Yeah, the previous piece of furniture that was where the chaise is going was a cabinet bed, which is kind of like a Murphy bed, but it's like short and fat instead of tall and, so... Yeah, since, I'm never having company again. And, even if I did, that's my office now. It's not the spare bedroom. It's my office. So
if I ever have a house again, I think a chaise lounge would be very nice.
Oh, it's so, like, I cannot wait to get it. I am so sad that it's going to be another month. Ordering appliances or furniture in the pandemic has just sucked.
Well, and then you add on the fact that you're in landlocked Juneau, Alaska, and that kind of makes it suck a little more.
Yes, it does.
All right, so we talked about the title. I will talk very briefly about our writer who we've talked about several times before. It's Channing Powell. Also, Channing Powell, also Elizabeth Channing Powell, but she's writing under Channing Powell these days. She has a total of 5 writer credits, including Fear and Walking Dead. And this is actually the first time she's written for Fear. All of her other writing in the Walking Dead universe up to this point has been Walking Dead. I do want to say that she wrote one of my absolute all-time favorite episodes, Internment, which is the Herschel episode. She also wrote Inmates and Slabbed Him, which were 2 great episodes from season 4. So I'm trying to hold that in my heart when I think about the fact that she wrote this steaming pile of dung. So
I think you were just in the wrong mindset for watching the show.
I must have been. I'm not going to lie. I'm tired again today. I had another really full weekend. I'm very tired. I was not in the headspace to watch Fear, but I'm also I'm kind of done with Fear. I don't think I would watch it if we were not podcasting it.
And see, like I said, I really and I am exhausted this week too. I had my second Pfizer vaccine on Monday and it knocked me down for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was, achy muscles and joints and fatigue and things like that. I'm totally fine now. No, I mean,
still get vaccinated.
Yep, everyone reacts differently. It's literally like a 50-50 split for all my friends that have been vaccinated so far, of people who have had, like, flu-like symptoms or whatever, and, kind of reacted that way to the shot.
I had Pfizer. I had a sore arm.
Yeah, and my therapist, she had like this big red knot for like 2 weeks, but that was like literally her only reaction. And like all of and the other half of my friends had like zero reaction on either shot, and they've had, some of them had Pfizer, some of them had Moderna, so like it's really individual. Like I had a little anxiety about the reaction that I would have, and I would do it again. Like the reaction that I had, like muscle fatigue or muscle pain and fatigue are like daily life anyway. It was just a little worse, and it's way better than getting COVID. So
speaking of muscle fatigue and body aches, I went and saw a massage therapist on Thursday, and I'm seeing her again on Tuesday night, and I can hardly wait because I'm dying.
Must be nice. So I'm exhausted this week too. So I had that going on this week, and then I had the new furniture arrive yesterday. So I was tired also, and I really enjoyed the episode. So I think really it's just...
You're saying it's just me?
I think it's just you. I'll be curious to see what the other podcasters have to say.
I can tell you what Steve is going to say. I can't tell you what Diana's going to say because she sometimes is a little more generous than Steve is. Sorry, Steve. But I can definitely tell you what Steve is going to say. He's going to be on my side. He's going to be like, why don't they kill some people off, for the love of God?
I really think that they will. Like, they're just sort of holding it back. The actor who plays Wes did an interview for this episode with Decider.com, and he said at the end of the interview, you guys are not ready. We are so excited for you guys to see the rest of this season. Which I know we've heard that in the past before, but we usually hear it from like showrunners, and this is Wes saying it, so I kind of have a tendency to believe him a little more.
I just I don't know if I'm burnt out on Walking Dead, although I definitely liked a couple of things from the back half of season 10. Yeah, I don't know.
I think you're just kind of burnt out. We are on episode 11, and the season has 5 more episodes left. It ends June 6th. So, yeah. We've they didn't take a break. We went from like, what was it, podcasting 2 shows at once to a huge like a 3 or 4 month time period where there was nothing, and then now we're doing back to back Walking Dead and then straight into Fear the Walking Dead. So yeah.
And then what do we go right into the world beyond?
I actually have not looked at that.
I don't want to think about it tonight. I'm having trauma. Okay, sorry. Onward to our director. We'll never get done at this rate, and it will be my fault. Our director is Casey Caldwell. The only director credit for this person is another Fear the Walking Dead credit. I don't even know if it's a man or a woman. Isn't that terrible? The director did You're Still Here in 2019, and I'm like, I don't remember that either. So was it just one more in a terrible series of Fear the Walking Dead episodes?
Okay, so that was the episode, one of the episodes where we get Wes painting trees, and I don't know if that was quite the episode where Alicia started also painting trees, but that's where the title came from, is If You're Reading This, You're Still Here.
Okay, did you look that up, or did you remember that? Because I'm going to be wicked impressed if you actually just remembered that.
I just remembered that.
Wow.
Because that was kind of my joke at the beginning of the episode, is if you're listening to this, we're still here. because it's Wes painting and his brother and all that kind of stuff. So that's the callback for that. That's why I remember that. But you know, and I remember us podcasting those episodes and not being too terribly positive on them, because Alicia was going through this time where she's like, I'm not going to be a badass chick anymore. I'm going to paint trees. And we were not impressed. So, but she's back to being a badass, and so I'm good.
Yeah, but now she's a captive badass, and John Glover is like, you're my princess. You will be my queen. Ew!
Isn't it exciting?
No. No, it's not. We're both like, Okay, the podcast ends here. And scene. All right. I'm going to let you take us home with the featured cast. You noticed I said take us home, right?
So, surprisingly, we are not doing John Glover this episode because we had Shinza Uche, and he was a one and done on the episode. So,
and I'm guessing you must have listened to some interviews to figure out how to pronounce that.
What's that?
I'm guessing you must have listened to some interviews to figure out how to pronounce that.
I did, actually. Now that you mention it, I listened to a YouTube video uploaded by Build Series. So thanks to them for interviewing him and the writer, and I think either the director or producer of the movie Nigerian Prince, which is a film that he is in. So I have to say that I do not know Shinza from anything until now, but having watched the it's about a 20-minute interview on YouTube, I actually kind of want to see the movie Nigerian Prince, because it's about exactly what you think it's about. It's about
like the horrible emails that say, I'm a Nigerian prince and you need to send me.
Yes. So
okay.
It's about a guy who's one of those, scammers from Lagos, and it just looks really interesting, this story surrounding him, because it's actually like an American kid. It's from his perspective. He comes to his mom sends him to his aunts in Nigeria, and he kind of gets mixed up with this guy who's a Nigerian prince scammer, and so it's so it looks super interesting. So I think I'm actually going to seek that one out and watch it. It's from 2018. So I believe it's on Netflix. I should have probably looked that up, but I actually plan to look it up later and watch it. Prime Video. Yep. And Netflix. So it's on Prime and Netflix. But Shinza is mostly known so far from a lot of his stage work. He's been acting since he was 10. So he was born in Edinburgh, Scotland. And he's described as Nigerian American. So he has immigrated to the U.S. And I did watch a really, really, really short thing. It was like just sort of an introduction that some theater posted of him that talks about him being an immigrant. It was literally like a minute and 30 seconds. Just over a TikTok.
Not 50 TikToks.
Right? So, yeah, there really isn't a whole lot out there about him. He does not have any social media that I could find. There is a Twitter account that is Uche Shinza, which does not look like him. It looks like a businessman, and of course the names are reversed. There is an Instagram, but it has one picture and like 10 followers, and it's not blue checked. So either he does not use his real name or his real name on social media, or he does not have social media. So the only things that I can find are really just the stuff that is in his IMDb bio. And I find the same thing all over. It's basically a bio that's kind of copy and pasted in all of his theater credits and everything. I did find one article from, I'm not going to be able to find it again, am I? I think it was backstage.com. That mentioned that he was actually born with 6 fingers on each hand.
That's cool.
Polydactyly. Yes, so the 6th finger was removed. And it says he was born with 6 fingers on one hand, but the fingers were removed. So I'm unclear as to whether both hands had 6 fingers or just one. But he had them removed. But he says he still has proof that he had them, so I don't know if he got to keep the bone or something.
They're embalmed fingers.
Maybe it's just a scar.
Ugh.
But I thought that was super interesting. If that's true, that would be something I would definitely put in my IMDb trivia. So he needs to get on that. But yeah, there's really not a lot out there about him. He does have a couple of things in post-production. One is called Meadowbrook, which is a short. It's about 30 minutes long, and it's just a horror short. And it kind of sounds like a Donner-type situation. A group of friends must make a hard choice about their survival when they find themselves stranded in a blizzard in a small forest road with only half-loaded GPS images of a mile-away structure for a potential refuge. So, yeah, if it's horror, that kind of sounds like, yeah, they might have to turn to cannibalism.
Huh.
But he's also a producer on that. So not only does he act in it, but he's also a producer. He's also got a movie in post-production, Missy, that he's also a producer on that. And a movie in pre-production, I Don't Live Today. But yeah, I think he's mostly known for being in a TV series about Emily Dickinson called Dickinson.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he has been in 15 episodes of that. And it looks like it's ran from 2019 to 2021. I don't know if it's ended or if COVID has ended it, like so many other things out there. But yeah, I'm definitely going to seek out Nigerian Prince and watch that because that looked super interesting.
Just the movie and not the scammer.
No scammers.
Well, so I don't have a whole lot for Whisperer's Corner. There was no Kane article in Forbes at this point. We may be too early. He may not be doing one this week. There was a Paul Tassi article, not about this episode of Fear, but the basic gist is Fear the Walking Dead going to outlive The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much like, I'm going to continue to watch it, but I don't really see an end in sight, so I don't know what they're going to do with this. That's the gist of the article.
Season 11 of Walking Dead starts in August, late August, so we'll have about a month reprieve of between podcasting Fear and the main series, and World Beyond does not have a season 2 air date yet, so TBD.
Season 11 is starting in August of this year?
I think that's what I just read.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, that's a little crazy.
I told you, it's feast or famine.
It is, man.
Yeah, August 22nd, 2021.
Craziness.
So we'll have all of June, all of July, and most of August.
Huh. Craziness.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing I have, Robert Kirkland did an interview with Inverse, and I'm not sure if that is a magazine or a webzine or a website, because this was reported in another website, but he basically is not ruling out that they may do an animated series of Walking Dead. And he said that he has enjoyed the process of working on Invincible, so he could see kind of moving that experience into a Walking Dead animated series.
I've never been much as an adult for like animated series. But I do have to say that I'm really digging the Harley Quinn animated series. But it is definitely more adult focused. It's, got swear words and everything in it. So, yeah, I wasn't like a Family Guy kind of person. I have watched episodes of South Park, but and I think you said you watched some of the Invincible and it wasn't your jam.
It's not, and I feel a little bit bad about saying that. Phil tells me I should get a grip and continue to watch it, but my time is limited right now.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm at a point where I'm not willing to overcommit to anything, so... All right, Comic Book Reader actually published a thing that said that the cult introduced in tonight's Fear the Walking Dead is more terrifying than the Whisperers. And I was like, no, it wasn't. No, it's not. That
remains to be seen, but so far, no.
No, they're creepy, they're brainwashed, they're not more terrifying than the Whisperers.
Yeah, because the Whisperers, like... they would just kill you and skin you, or kill you and make you part of the herd, like they had no qualms about just offing someone because they didn't think that, they were still with you. They were part of the herd, so yeah. Is this group the same in that they will either kill you and put you in the compost, or they will just embalm you and let you be a walker that hangs there with its mouth stitched closed forever? Yeah, but I think it's harder to incur that sort of wrath. Like, Alpha would kill you for, like, talking smack or something, and it kind of sounds like that, maybe the cult just, like, I don't know, locks you in a room, or, like, I don't think, like there's not a lot of capital punishment going on as there was with the Whisperers. So yeah, so far not as scary, although the manner of death would be terrifying. Embalmed alive. Yeah.
Dead is dead, man. I mean, I hate to be awful, but dead is dead.
But, like, that I would think that would be a slow way to go. Slow and painful.
I don't know. Don't plan to die that way. God. All right. The Walking Dead has cast a star from a soap opera for season 11. His name is Jacob Young, and he's been on The Bold and the Beautiful. They've cast him to play a character named Deaver, and spoiler alert, that character is not in the comic books.
Huh.
The only other thing I have in Whisperer's Corner is that I just wanted to mention that the actress who played the grandmother in Minari, which is the movie that Steven Yeun was in, did get the Best Supporting Actress award in the Academy Awards. Her name is, I'm probably going to slaughter it, everybody, I'm really sorry, Yoon Young. So, Minari did get an Academy Award.
Good. I have yet to see it.
Me too. I did watch John Wick last night, finally. I had tried to watch it before, and I actually, like, made my way through it, but I was in just such a bad mental space because I was, like, leaving my marriage and just miserable, and ugh. I really liked it last night. It was really good. And that kind of takes us into housekeeping. I just want to say, I know I'm always late to a good party. Oh my god, the cinematography was great. the way that it moved from scene to scene to scene and plot point to plot point was really great. I just really enjoyed it. And Keanu Reeves, I mean, what's not to like?
Right.
So, yeah.
And what's funny is I like, that was just such a sleeper hit. Like, nobody, it was just going to be a Keanu Reeves action movie. And then it was like, oh, like, we get a sequel. And now it's like everyone really clamored for a third. And now they're doing a fourth. So yeah.
Hot Boyfriend theory is that they're going to turn it into a universe.
So there was some scuttlebutt about it being made into a TV series, but that was pre-COVID, so I don't know where that's going. And I can't see Keanu Reeves doing a weekly.
No, and he didn't. Yeah. I didn't say TV series. I said universe.
No.
Like it's kind of like the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah. Where the other characters would spin off. Yeah, the other hitmen and stuff. Because there's some very rich characters in the sequels.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are on the agenda, so I'll let you know.
Well, you and Phil and Lilith got me to watch the movie Tenet. Yeah, it's a palindrome. Tenet.
Yeah.
Same forward as it is backwards. Which kind of plays into the movie. There's a whole thing about forward and back.
God, I didn't even think about that. That's so smart.
Yeah, and there's a whole like a puzzle from Pompeii that like kind of describe. Yeah, it's go read the trivia. But I watched it because Robert Pattinson is the new Batman, and we were talking with Phil, and it was like, I can't see Robert Pattinson as new Batman. And if you're like me, go watch Tenet. Like, the movie was really hard to follow.
I'm going to say it again, Tenet. So Tenet is the doctor. Tenet is the movie. Sorry.
I'm having some allergies today, so I'm probably a little nasally, so I'm getting an N in there. An extra N. But yeah, Robert Pattinson was amazing in the movie. And so now I definitely see him as Batman. So cool.
Yeah, he was great. I really liked him a lot.
Yeah. And then I binged the first 5 episodes of Superman and Lois, which I highly recommend also. It's on HBO Max.
I need a chart. I need to decide what I'm going to do with my divorce. Yes, I'm finally saying divorce and not dissolution, and I need to sleep. So I don't think there's any TV on my agenda other than what you and I need to podcast.
And that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. A couple of other things, speaking of that. So I am horribly late with last week's Fear. I will edit this one and that one tomorrow, put them both up at the same time. You and I have decided that for the summer, we're going to take Real Housewives to every 2 weeks, just because summers in Alaska are so dang short and you have to enjoy them while you get them.
Yes.
So I think we're probably going to do our RGB tomorrow night.
Yep.
And then probably the next one 2 weeks from now.
Right. And I'm excited to do it because I'm like, why did I not watch this movie when it first came out? It was so good.
It was a great movie. So I had actually watched it a few months ago. I'm happy to watch. I was happy to watch it again. I'm happy to podcast it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of takes us into our goods, bads, and uglies.
It does. So my turn to go first. And I kind of think this is an obvious one. My good this episode was Alicia. Like, she just kicks butt, and I love to see her kick butt. She was a little bit too late coming around and being smart about Derek, Wes's brother, when they were in the elevator doing their little escape, and she's like, what's in the backpack, and like disarming him like immediately, and like very well. She just didn't realize that he had already ratted them out. But then when she pulls a Madison and decides to tell everyone to go and she'll set the fire, Total callback to her mom. And then when she puts up a fight with the guy who's going to embalm her alive, you know, and she's ready to do battle to Teddy when he gets in there, and she's like, I'm not buying what you're selling, you know, and she's such a smart character, and she's capable, and she fights well, and she's a survivor, and like, I feel like they have not utilized her enough in like the past season and a half. And, like, even in episodes we've seen her, there was the episode with her and Charlie with the crazy taxidermy guy.
Right.
That I just, yeah, they have not utilized her as well as they did in this episode. And I love to see it. So, and I loved the callback to Madison, you know, with the setting the fire. So that was my good. I loved it.
I just didn't see it, Marn. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your good?
My good, and you're probably going to laugh at me, it's the romantic in me, I'm sure, was the reintroduction of the possibility of bringing Isabel back into the story.
Oh.
I'm not super excited about the fact that Al is going to go off on her own, because the last thing we need in this series are more bottle episodes. But, you know, I'm kind of intrigued by the maybe Al's going to find her after all.
Right. You know, and I mean, this could go anywhere, because I was really surprised to see CRM stuff in this episode.
Right. I was too. And at first, oh God, that's just me dropping things. At first, I was kind of disappointed at the blatant use of the CRM maps to pull the CRM storyline in. But, as I just said, I'm not totally against the possibility of finding Isabel again, so...
Well, and we had the CRM walker that they had hung up in their, you know, that room.
Right, which of course they totally wanted us to believe it was Isabel.
Yeah. And of course, I'm sure that's probably where they got those maps. So it kind of does seem like they are pulling CRM into the storyline, and we could get some like crossover stuff maybe. I think they're leaving it open, but yeah, it'll suck to have a Althea splinter off side story, and I don't know how I feel about her finding Grace.
Finding Isabel.
Not finding Isabel. Yes, sorry, thank you. I'm not sure how I feel about that, and I don't know if that will be like, because I just don't see any good end. Like, Isabel is a good CRM soldier, and I feel like she's not just gonna run off with Althea. Like, so I don't know. I feel like that's another Sherry Dwight situation where
that's like, a good possibility.
Yeah, so
that's a very good possibility.
But I did like the scene when Dwight,
beer lady,
was like, yeah, and when he's like, you know, if you don't call and check in every couple of days, you know, I'm gonna come looking for you.
Right.
You know, and she punches him in the shoulder, and yeah, it was very sweet. I liked that moment.
Well, and I know you like them together. I mean, I didn't dislike them together. They were a good pairing.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
They had really good, like, brother-sister energy.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. All right. So what was your bad?
I'm so glad you asked.
Did you have a bad? You liked it so much more than I did.
I did, and my bad was, like, super bad. Like, I guess maybe we'll find out a little bit more later, because we don't know very much about this cult yet. But the embalmed walker room, I'm like, okay, so our punishment for people is, instead of putting them in our dog food cookers, you know, our composting pile, we're going to embalm you and you're not going to be part of this cycle. And
we're going to embalm you and we're not going to compost you, but we're still going to kill you. We're just not going to compost you.
We're going to keep you tied up in a room with your mouth sewn shut. That's just weird and creepy. Like, what's that for? You're in like a bunker. There's like limited space. Why? And it's got to be some sort of weird culty belief about, you know. I felt like the beginning of the episode, the little speech that we heard Teddy give was very Mufasa-esque in that it was like, you know, when we die, our body becomes the grass and the antelope eat the grass and then we eat the antelope, you know, like I was just like, okay. And so I don't understand the purpose of keeping the bodies and they're like, okay, sure. Like embalm them, whatever. Like you don't get to be a part of our thing anymore, even in the afterlife.
You don't get to be part of our class.
Yeah. You don't but I don't understand the whole keeping them tied up in that room. I mean, were they going to use that room for some sort of like torture? Like if you get in trouble, they shove you in that room and you just have to kind of be there with it. Like, yeah, I don't know. But the other thing that I did not like about the room was Althea's like, well, we just have to get through them fast. You know, all of their jaws are wired shut and we just have to get. And so then they slowly tiptoe through them.
So we're going to slow walk.
Right. And I'm like, okay. You could also crawl and be nowhere near their mouths that could suddenly burst open. You could crawl really fast. That would work. And then the pièce de résistance, the embalming fluid is flammable. I don't dispute that. I dispute the fact that the walkers have a working circulatory system that keeps the embalming fluid in their upper half. So when you're slitting their throats,
it's going to come squirting out.
Yeah. That's not happening. Like you're going to have to cut them in like the calf or something because they've been up there for God knows how long. And all that embalming fluid has pooled in their lower extremities. Like it's basic like crime 101, like bodily fluids in the body pool. So yeah, I was really, really annoyed at like just how much embalming fluid was coming out of them. And I'm like, okay, apparently there's no science anymore. We can run a nuclear power plant on a generator and kids can put together planes and
spray paint or taggers can totally like resurrect a nuclear submarine, but we're not going there yet. And like walkers have some sort of circulatory system that keeps embalming fluid in their throats. Okay, sure. So that was my bad. Is I didn't get the whole thing, and then the embalming fluid. Like I get that they were like, okay, it's flammable. Like, you know, we should use it. Like. At least then be a little bit realistic and start cutting people in the legs, stabbing them in the legs. I don't know. Whatever. What was your bad? Mine was the incessant droning voiceover of Teddy, which sounded like initially like a mortuary ad. Because I totally think that this guy is the crazy embalmer who's a serial killer. I mean, I don't remember where I read that or where we talked about that, but I think it's totally legit. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't need that. I didn't need 40-some minutes in a 50-some minute episode of Teddy's voice droning on and on about the circle of life and embalming. And
for me, I was like, I could not live with that the entire day. Like I don't care how brainwashed I am in the cult. I'm not walking around serenely going about my business to that guy droning on and on about the circle of life. No, I couldn't do it. Like for this 40, 50 minutes, I could not. Like, give me some headphones. Like Okay, I'm in your cult. Shut up.
I'm all in. I just want some headphones.
Right?
Oh, that's funny.
So I totally get it.
Well, so what was your ugly, and was it a good ugly or a bad ugly?
I'm taking an old play and saying it's both. Wes having to kill his brother. Wes finding his brother, which is so hard in the apocalypse for, people to come back together. Him thinking he's dead all this time, and Derek thinking Wes is dead all this time, and, they get reunited, and it feels so good, and then Wes has to kill his brother. And, when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh God, Wes had to kill his brother. And the second time, I honestly think that Wes was kind of trying to pull an Alicia and disarm his brother. I don't think that he meant to get into a battle for the gun and then have to kill his brother. I think he really just meant to, my brother's kind of unstable, and I don't think he should be carrying a weapon.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to kill him.
I don't think he meant to kill him, but he had to kill him. And he also, before he died, Wes found out that his brother meant to kill him because he knew he was in Tanktown. He kind of made it known that he knew he was in Tanktown, and his response to that was, people are people, Wes. And he's sort of in that brainwashed cult mentality of, we're all part of a larger thing, and no one life has any special meaning, even if they are family. But then later you have Teddy, where family's everything, But Wes finds out that his brother turned on him, he ratted him out, and then he had meant to kill him at Tanktown. It was just, I felt so bad for Wes because I really, really like the character. And I was really excited that he got such a meatier part this episode. We saw a lot from his past. We met his brother, he got a much larger part, and he had to do something that's so sad and so scarring, so it was both good and bad. It was, good that we saw more Wes. He got a little bit of closure on his brother. It was bad that he had to kill his brother, but it was also good that his brother didn't join the cast, because yes, we still do have too many people. So that's why Shinzo was our featured cast member, is because he died this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was ugly, but it was both good and bad though. So what was your ugly?
Mine wasn't a bad ugly, and it was just the whole cult thing. I mean, the whole, do you see? Can you see it? What do you see? And the whole Riley, the character Riley, just made me crazy through the whole episode. Not crazy in a good way. I actually found myself looking him up because I was like, do I know him from somewhere? Am I distracted?
Immediately I was like, oh my God, that's Nick Stahl.
Well, and then I was like, why do I care who Nick Stahl is? So I looked at Nick Stahl up, and I have no good reason to care who Nick Stahl is.
Oh.
None.
Oh.
Zero zilch.
He's our next featured cast member, by the way. We're doing Nick Stahl next.
No, we're not. We're doing John Glover next, aren't we?
I think we'll probably do Nick Stahl. He features heavily in next episode. And he's been one of my favorite actors that totally takes me back to my teenage years.
Oh my God.
Oh. So
yeah,
you didn't yours is a bad ugly, of course, and it was the cult.
The cult, it just didn't do anything for me, and I think maybe I'm dead inside. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too distracted. I don't know. Maybe all of the above.
And I like that, we've dealt with cults before. It seems like just about every bad guy group that we come up with has some sort of cultish-like behavior, whether they are wolves or saviors or whisperers or what did we call Jenny's group?
Oh,
Rangers.
The Rangers. Didn't we call them the Pioneers or something for a while?
Yeah, for a while. Or like in the very, very beginning, I think they were highwaymen, or we had highwaymen, or something.
No, the highwaymen were in the original series. They were the people who... They were the people that DJ was from. He was one of the people that was killed in the barn that Sadiq did the killing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I feel like we've had a lot of like culty type groups, but I think this one for me hits home in that it's like sort of a traditional new agey kind of cult, like a Heaven's Gate or something like that. It's got a very charismatic guru at the head of it, where, you know, they have him down to a pat. So they have the wild gray hair and beard and the spectacles, and he is wearing white linen in the apocalypse and socks with sandals. So we know he's evil. Socks with sandals is evil.
That's super funny.
Evil. Yeah. So they have his wardrobe down to a pat of charismatic leader of creepy death cult, you know? And just like even the serenity of the girl, like staring at the walker, trying to see what Teddy sees. Like I'm so here for the creepy cult, because you know me, I was actually just watching another documentary on NXIVM, the cult NXIVM.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like cults are my jam. I don't understand how people get. I understand how people get sucked in. I don't understand how people get sucked in. Like I'm just like, I know that there is a whole psychology that like they find people's weaknesses, they exploit it. There's a whole thing about tearing you down as an individual and like giving you more attention than you ever received in your life, and then taking it away so that you crave it, and stripping your individuality, which we saw with Derek, in that, you know, he was sort of stripped down to people are people, you know? And so I think I'm really going to like this cult. And of course, you know, John Glover.
How many more episodes do we have?
5 more episodes.
Oh my God. Is it really 5 more episodes, or because are we just off count and we're actually going to have 16 total, because we started with...
We have 16 total. So we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 5 episodes.
Okay.
But the way we ended this episode is super interesting. So I think we've gotten into Rotten Potpourri now. In that, like, Alicia was really, really like, I am not buying what you're selling. What do you want from me? You know, just whatever you're going to do, just do it. And he's like, no. You're exactly what we've been looking for. And so I'm like, are they going to draw Alicia into the cult? Because, like, I kind of see her as me, where it's like, no, this is BS. Like, I'm not joining your cult. Like, nothing would make me join your cult. But cults have a way of finding people when they're at the most weak in their life, and they find a way in, and then it's this whole brainwashing thing. And so, like, I mean, like I said, I don't get how people join cults, but I get how people join cults. Like, there's a psychology to it. So, like, I'm like, I guess anybody could fall prey. I feel like one of those people that never could, but I don't know. You know, maybe if I were at a really low point in my life and somebody offered me, peace, love, and vegetables, when I've been eating out of tin cans for the past 2 years or whatever, like, maybe I would join the cult. I don't know. Like, so I'm really interested to see where this goes with Alicia.
I'm just not. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible person.
Well, and I'm also interested in that. I think we've displaced them at the very least. He said, Teddy said that a lot was destroyed by the fire, like years worth of work. And so they're not going to be able to go through with their plan just yet of what seemingly is, and I think the quote was basically like, we have to destroy everything and everyone above ground. So
here's what I think. I think they're going to use the nuclear submarine to try to create some sort of nuclear explosion. And here's the thing. If they delay this plotline any longer and drag this out into another season, I think I'm just going to put my eye out with a spoon.
But so I think that's what that next episode is about, is they need Grace for the whole nuclear thing. But I think the fire set them behind enough that they're not actually ready to do it yet. So where does that leave them? Does that leave them, raiding Morgan's site for vegetable starts and dirt or whatever? Like, yeah. So I think it set them back.
So I'm going to do a hard left. I am driven crazy by the fact that Fear is constantly taking beats from Walking Dead Prime. Like the whole zombie covered with the vine.
Oh.
The brother having to kill his brother. There's other stuff. There's so much stuff that
felt like the recording was like the Alexandria recordings, the interviews. Yeah, I felt like that. Like, I get why Al was doing it, because she was a journalist in her before time, and she felt that she needed to document people's lives for future generations. But the interview that was done in Alexandria and the interview that was done here, I think, is more of a get to know the people who are potentially going to join us.
Yeah, I don't know. There should be enough creativity in the Walking Dead universe that we don't have to steal plot points from the main series again and again and again. And I feel like they've done a lot of that this particular season.
I can see that. Would you eat?
Oh, shoot! Sorry, I didn't mean to click on something.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, good.
Would you eat the vegetables grown in ground up Walker?
It's funny that you asked that, because one of the things that I did write down in my notes was, our heroes are pretty sanguine about eating that, knuckling down and eating that right away. I mean, they were like, is it safe? Okay, let's have dinner.
Yeah, so I'm at... It's what's in dirt, decaying, and, matter. There's decaying bugs and worms and stuff in our dirt. There's probably decaying other animals. There's, and I mean, everything in Earth is recycled. So just about everything. Some things take longer than others. But for me, it's a little too soon. I feel like it should be like, because I heard that because, and you may know something about this, because of like the bacteria and stuff in our guts, like humans aren't good for podcasting. Humans are good for podcasting. Not tonight, anyway.
Composting.
Compost. It has to be a certain amount of time has to go by. It's almost like dog poop. You're not supposed to put your dog's poop in your composting pile because there are things, that are bad in it that take a much longer time than you would want in your composting pile. So for me, I could probably do it if it was like, last year's composting pile of dirt and walkers, not like we're still actively grinding them up and taking dirt out of the bin.
And here we're going to show you, but then join us for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely wrote that down in my notes.
Yeah. But the tree walker, I almost feel like that was some sort of religious iconography. I feel like it was...
So what did you see?
And honestly, I think I might have gotten it right. I think I might have joined the cult. I saw death and rebirth.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I saw that they were blatantly ripping off Walking Dead Prime.
But just the way that they had the lights star beamed out and the vines and the walker was still moving and tied to the tree, and it was like this imagery of death and rebirth from death, So I think I would have gotten in on day one because I got really, really close to the end is the beginning. And he even gave, did he give Wes or Alicia the answer? He gave Alicia her answer because, Riley was like, what do you see? And Alicia's like, my mom used to grow crops and blah, blah, and she sacrificed herself to save us and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, her end was her beginning. And I'm like, he just gave you the answer to their little riddle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I in my practical brain, I'm thinking, I see a security liability, but okay. But what I would have told him is I see death and rebirth. Shine him on, but really be like, yeah, no, that walker's going to get loose in here and we're going to have a problem. That's what I saw.
Stealing from Walking Dead Prime.
I think, I don't know if I could have eaten a straight salad, but those frittatas in the beginning looked pretty good.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Walker bone meal chicken egg frittata.
Hey, so I think... Oh, go ahead.
Gotta do something, I guess.
Oh, so Siri apparently thinks I'm talking to her now. Everything's connected.
So why do we have to close up the doors for good? Is that because we're a cult and we don't want anybody to get wise and escape? There's no escape.
Yes, and because they're going to destroy everything above ground.
But why do we have to do that? Is it just to keep our
Because we're a
people?
cult and we're ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, you don't have to close the doors. You could just be like, we're going to totally Brendan Fraser blast from the past, seal ourselves up for 30 years and then, just see what's going on in 30 years or whatever. You don't have to keep going up, but you don't have to shut the doors forever. I don't think people underground can survive forever, by the way.
No, I looked at them and I was like, they look really healthy for people who are living underground.
Right?
Yeah.
Your lamps are going to go out eventually. And you're going to wind up with a vitamin D3 deficiency, which leads to all sorts of health problems. Living in Alaska, I know that because we all take a D3 supplement. Yeah. I'm super curious about the cult. I had my eye on a Jim Jones documentary the other day. Like, I love the cult aspect.
Why don't you watch it next week and send me a summary that you created for your TikTok account? I would even watch too.
That's funny.
So one of the things that I wrote down was, and I think this was when Riley was standing with our various and sundry heroines and heroes in front of the Vine Walker. He was like, "Your answers will go a long way toward earning favor with Teddy." And I was like, why do we want to be somewhere where we have to earn favor?
Yeah. Yeah. Why do we have to impress just the one dude? Like, there's a ton of people living down here. What if just Teddy likes me and everybody else loathes me?
I thought the reveal of Derek being the painter was good.
Yeah.
I didn't put that together. I probably should have.
So, I didn't put it together until, of course, we locked eyes on Derek. But just all of the paintings that caught Wes's eye around, it was definitely... He was getting a vibe. And the paintings were very good. It depicted the tree of, with their little slogan, "The end is the beginning." And then he had that like forest scene with all of the walkers in it. And then the painting that he was painting when Wes kind of confronted him had a lot of interesting imagery in it. It looked like it was a bunch of locations, a bunch of Ginny locations, and then some, because it even, if you take a look in the very lower left-hand corner, they even have the building where all of the people had the bubonic plague. So, yeah, these people have had their fingers in everything, and he was sort of depicting that on this wall.
I obviously was not watching closely enough, and that's pretty cool that they incorporated the building where the people had the plague. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You watch more closely than I do, and you've watched it twice, which I'm not going to give this series that much energy. I'm just not. It's going to have to get way better than it is right now for me to give it that much energy. I'm sorry I'm being so down, you guys. Ugh.
Well, to be fair, I was literally watching it very close. It was on my laptop. My laptop was on my bed, and I was using my bed as a means to stretch some of my leg muscles because I'm exhausted and, like, my muscles hurt. So I was sitting there with, like, one leg up on the bed, like, bent. I was, like, basically contorting, and then I'd, like, lean over and write a note.
That's funny.
But I was like 4 inches from my computer screen, my laptop screen. So.
Well, I watched it on my Kindle, and I watched it up in my bed, and I still didn't pay that much attention to it. So here we are. All right. Do you have anything else in your rotting potpourri?
I thought it was interesting, and the writer did point this out at the little thing after the episode for AMC Plus members to point out that Lucy kind of tried to warn Wes, and it's because Lucy was in a death cult. Remember?
Right. Although this death cult blows bigger than that death cult did.
Yeah. But she's kind of like, she said, when people are desperate, they start believing in things, and they start doing things they never thought they would. I did.
All right, this is not a commentary on Alicia. This is another little bit of a hard left. But how do they know who Morgan is, and why are they obsessed with him?
Yeah, and so I thought that they knew. My impression was they knew of Morgan because of something that Wes was talking about with his brother. But later on, it seemed like it was a much bigger deal than that. So, in the advertisement for the next episode, I think I heard the commentary that Morgan Jones, you have something that we want or we need or something like that. Riley says that. And so I honestly think that the thing that he has that they want is Grace, because there's that whole nuclear tieback.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. But other than that, I really don't have much more.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to apologize again that I'm not into it, but Fear has just been progressively more disappointing. And yes, I am completely distracted and spending my time doing things other than podcasting. And I just, I mean, laugh all you want. I'm being really honest here.
Yeah.
It's just that then when I get pulled back into something that I enjoy and I'm doing it to podcast something that I'm not enjoying watching, it's a chore. It's a chore. And, you know, maybe that means, I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. It means that Fear needs to get a lot better. That's what it means.
6 more episodes. And I think like I said, I gave this a 4.5. I really liked this episode. And, our two kind of bad guys, I actually expected them to have killed Riley by the end of this episode. So I was like, oh, we're totally doing Nick Stahl as our featured cast member, because he's gonna die this episode, and then he didn't die, and I saw him in the next episode, so I was like, we'll probably do him next time, and we'll save John Glover for because John Glover's gonna be around for a while. But yeah, I feel like we're moving forward. I mean, I feel like a past bunch of episodes really weren't getting us anywhere. And now I feel like we're going someplace. So I was very happy with the episode, and the next episodes look good to me. So I will be here spouting positive stuff.
And I'll be like, oh God, she made me watch another episode of Fear the Walking Dead.
It's okay. You don't have to like everything I like. We're not identical twins.
I won't shove you against a Viney Walker either.
Thanks. I won't try and kill you in Tanktown and then be shocked that you show up in my cult bunker.
And I will get this edited along with the other episode of Biters tomorrow and post them both. I swear.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's all that we have for this week. So, until next week, just remember,
take it one dead day at a time.
Have a good week, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.